Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the Munce Report. Well, if we thought the previous week was good, what about this week? A stakes winning double, Smart Meteor just behind us, won the Ipswich Cup, and Centrefire winning the Gay Waterhouse Classic. And mate, you had the rock star looks walking out of Ipswich with a couple of trophies on the weekend.
Yeah, well, as I say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and I managed to get hold of a mullet there throughout the day, but didn't last for long, I can tell you.
And hands full, trophy in either hand, a pretty good finish to the day.
It was a good finish, yeah. You know, I certainly didn't expect it to go as well as it did, but certainly pleased that we ended up the way we did.
Yeah, well, it's a huge weekend for the stable. We'll go in-depth in today's show on the win of Smart Meteor and Centrefire. We'll catch up with the winning jockey, Sam Collett, who rode Centrefire to victory. She's also ridden Boom Nova to stakes victories over the last few weeks. We'll chat about the win of Deliath. We'll also highlight some runners to follow from this week's jump outs, plus a Group 1 preview heading into Tats Tiara Day with Pelisipan. Well, what a week it was for the stable. 2 stakes winners to take the tally to 4 stakes winners from the past 3 weeks. So continuing the stable's strong form. And joining us is the winning jockey, Sam Collett, who guided Centrefire to victory off the back of stakes wins recently with Boom Nova too. You must be happy with how it's all going.
Yeah, really wrapped. Obviously, we've had the 3 stakes winners in succession now and 2 for Chris and his team. So it's been probably a better start to my first Winter Carnival than I thought. I'm getting fantastic support from everyone, so it makes it easier when the horses run fast.
Sure does. Well, and you've got a different trophy there. We're going to get Sam's help today to draw the winning owner who's going to take home this Ipswich Cup trophy from Smart Meteor's victory behind us. But before we do that, we'll touch on the winner of Centrefire. And you did exactly, I guess, what you've done in the previous starts, you know, bounced her out and, you know, you sort of gave him a sight, gave him something to chase. And did you hear the footsteps coming?
I could feel someone coming the last little bit, but I mean, she's just so easy to ride when she's got that great barrier speed, and the one gate made my job a lot easier, and was able to put a little bit of pressure on just before that home corner, and she was able to just defend them all off. And her work, you know, at the start of the week was so good, and I was pretty confident.
Yeah, well, they send her out a big price, don't they, Chris? But she often defies the odds, and even when she ran 7th, you know, a couple of starts prior, it was a pretty good 7th.
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, she didn't have a lot of luck that day, but I mean, she's been racing very genuine this preparation, and you know, as we all know, she won first up. I think she's 50 to 1 when Sam won on her first up, and every run since has been good. So I was really pleased when she was able to draw a good gate, and Sam was confident, and we were pretty confident as well in the stable. Yeah,
well, I guess the other important thing with Centrefire now is that gives her important black type, which I guess you've always had an opinion of her, and you thought that she's deserving of.
Yeah, well, she's such a good worker, and as a yearling, she always promised a lot, and I'd always sort of spoke to the owners about how good I thought she was as a worker and that sort of thing. But you know, it's taken a little while for her to get to that stakes level, but now she has. It's a great thrill, and I'm sure she's only going to improve again.
Yeah, sure. Well, Sam, she's not the only flying mare that you've got an association with. Obviously, Boom Nova winning the Lightning Stakes, and as well as just a general association with the stable. And what's the key, the association with these flying mares?
That's probably the good training, I reckon. Well, like I said, both mares, they've got great early speed, and it definitely makes life a bit easier when you're able to be there and dictate, and you know, the horses behind you have got to run some time to get past, and it's just a matter of gauging it, and their ability shines through.
Sure. And what are your thoughts on Sam? Obviously, we're talking about this affinity that's been going. She's here, so you've got to be nice. But, I mean, 2 stakes winners in the last 3 weeks. It's not a bad effort, is it?
No, I can't say much more about that, can I? But, no, look, I think Sam's got a great ability with horses. They seem to run for her. And I think I've mentioned this before in previous segments. I mean, some jockeys horses run for, and some jockeys they don't. So I think, but Sam is one of the lucky ones where she has got an affinity with horses, and they do seem to run for her. And these mares in particular, they seem to appreciate Sam and the way they ride her, and as she rides them, and they're performing accordingly.
And Sam, you're an accomplished jockey, obviously, in New Zealand. For those that don't know, just talk us through. I mean, obviously, things are starting to really fire for you here now in Australia, but you've ridden a number of winners, and how many stakes winners now?
Yeah, so the 3 stakes winners here have sort of pushed me over 50 stakes winners and 3 Group 1 winners at home. I'm pushing on, well, just over 950 winners all up. So my next goal is to get 1,000 winners. So just keeping the ball rolling. Like, things are going very well here, and it's just making the most of every opportunity.
Yeah, and obviously you've worked hard. You've been here since November in sort of earnest. You were here over the Winter Carnival, but you must be just happy that things are now really starting to roll for you.
Yeah, especially now the sun's shining and the rain stopped. It's definitely a lot more pleasant.
Very good. Well, we'll move on to Smart Meteor. We've got the big shiny trophy here, and obviously the owners of Smart Meteor, some were there for the Ipswich Cup on Saturday. The Lovels took home the trophy, but in all fairness, we've got to give everyone the opportunity, Chris, to take home this trophy.
Well, we do, and Peter was actually glad that we brought the trophy back this morning, because now he's got a bit of room to sleep beside Karen. There was no room in the bed while the trophy was there.
I could imagine that. So, all right, well, Sam, we've got all the names in the hat. We've got a piece of vision we'll roll over the top here that shows everyone that everyone's name's in the hat, and the winner is...
Dun, 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 dun. Make sure I just get one and not two. What have we got?
Milo Racing.
Milo Racing.
Lloyd Merlihan.
Well done.
Lloyd and Tristan, they'll have the trophy to take home with them.
Yeah, good. And probably not the first trophy they've got on the cabinet either, I'd say.
No, they've probably got one of many, Lloyd, but it's going to a good home anyway.
Very good. Well done to all the connections of both Smart Media and Centrefire. It was a huge weekend. And Sam, thanks for your time, and great to hear more about your story.
Yeah, I'd love to be back on, so hopefully with more success for us. More trophies.
My word, many more.
Sounds good.
Treg running home as well, but Birdie back in front by a length and a half. Running home is Owen Tragan. Smart Meteor down the outside. Owen Tragan, Smart Meteor. Smart Meteor's got up to win the cup from Owen Treg. Third straight dancer. Smart Meteor. Chris Munce in sparkling form. It's flying, Muncie. Another winner for him. Brock Ryan, the winning jockey. And Smart Meteor's tipped out Owen Tragan. Straight dancer has run third in the Ipswich Cup.
Well, Chris, they weren't the only winners over the weekend. Delight made it 2 impressive wins on the hop, and she stepped up in grade off the back of her maiden win, Class 2, which is not an easy thing to do, and she put them away stylishly.
Yeah, she sure did, Adam. You're quite right. It's very difficult for sometime horses to go from a maiden to a Class 1, let alone a Class 2. But Delight did it pretty easily there on Friday night. She raced just behind the speed and travelled quite strong for Mark Duplessis, and was able to, when she did finally get out and went on straightening, she won comfortably. So it was certainly an impressive win, and I think there's probably a lot more in store for her.
Yeah, it sounds that way, and obviously this is the baby sister to skate to Paris, so she's got a lot to live up to, but obviously when you see her win like that back-to-back, it sort of makes you think, well, the sky's the limit in a way. Yeah,
well, she's certainly on the right track. You know, she's been a bit of a work in progress. Like I think she's a 4-year-old now, but you know, she's been a late maturer, and I think just by giving her that bit of extra time and not rushing her, and you know, thankfully Steph and David Watkins have been very patient with her and given me the time that she's needed, and I think it's starting. They're going to reap rewards now. Yeah, well, it certainly looks that way. So yeah, well done to the Watkins family, and yeah, she's certainly on the upward spiral. Other notable mentions over the weekend. Millwood charged home for second in his first up run. You happy with that one? Very good run, yeah. First up after a long layoff. He was probably struggling to go the speed early, 1,000 metres, but I thought he finished his race off very well, so he's not far off winning. Okay, step up in trip next start? He'll step up, yeah. I might even tinker with a little bit of headgear, maybe blinkers, but right at the moment we'll just probably step him up in distance. Okay, and then the other notable mentions, Goldschlager and Emerson both ran third as well, and yeah, knocking on the door. Yeah, well, they both ran really well. Emerson was first up once again. I thought she finished off really well, and Goldschlager, she's obviously looking for more distance now. She's had 1,400 metres the other day, and I think now we'll step her up to a mile or more, and she shouldn't be far off a win. Okay, very good. Well, the stable is certainly firing on all cylinders. It's good to see. Okay, some runners to follow from this week's Doomben jump outs. Rhapsody Rose tuned up ahead of her assignment this weekend. You happy with her performance? Yeah, I just wanted to give her a little jump out with a tongue tie on to see how she reacted to it, and fortunately she handled it quite well and trialled nicely. So she runs this Saturday at Eagle Farm. Good gait, and I think she should be very competitive. Yeah, okay, we'll get into her more in the preview, but so the tongue tie, that's a new thing? Yeah, it was just something we'd noticed that one of the riders one morning thought that she was holding her breath a little bit, and I must say I did hear her at the same point of her gallop make a bit of a noise, so we tinkered with a bit of gear and it seems to have helped her.
Okay. Fastnet Jack was another one who impressed and potentially off to the races now?
Yeah, well, he's had two good hit-outs now, so he'll head to the races. He's certainly a horse that gets out over a bit further than 800 or 1,200, 1,000 metres. So he's very fit now, though, and ready to go to the races.
Okay, so maybe one to follow this preparation. Prime for Victory had his first hit out in a jump out?
I thought he went well. Only got sort of run down late there after sort of being on speed, and his just condition blew out late, but I thought overall his trial was quite good.
And he obviously ran as a 2-year-old, so just needed a bit of time,
yeah,
bit of maturity.
He's just been a bit immature, developing, but I'm sure this time around we'll see a lot stronger horse.
Pepe's saying that's one to follow.
That's it.
and another one that impressed me was Houston Rocket, who's spelling, but potentially one to keep an eye on for the future.
Yeah, well, he's come a long way this prep. He's been very sort of immature physically and mentally horse, but I thought his jump out on Tuesday was very good. He's only going to improve as time goes on.
Okay, well, there you go. 4 runners to follow from this week's jump outs. Well, it's an off the track with a bit of a difference this week, a bit of breaking news. It's only happened this morning, but Bennies Girl's off to start a new chapter in her career as a broodmare. Yeah,
she is. No, she's had a wonderful career, I've got to say. She's been a lovely mare to have anything to do with winning her first start, and we'd been approached earlier, or back end of last year, whether they were wanting to sell, the owners, and they were happy to do the deal, and she was sold, and she's headed off this morning to be at Lion Country, where she'll be well looked after mum down there.
Yeah, okay. Well, exciting chapter for Bennies Girl, and just your memories of her. Obviously, you mentioned she won on debut, and she actually beat Rhapsody Rose in that race, and then obviously raced in top company as a 2-year-old and an early 3-year-old.
Yeah, she did, and she was just a little professional from day one. Just did everything very easily, and was a pleasure to train. There was no fuss with her, and yeah, it's good to see them go to have a good home like what she's going to have.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, good to see that she's only young too. She's a 3-year-old filly, but a happy horse, sound, going off to start a new chapter, and you know, credit to everyone here for what she's been able to do.
Yeah, and I'm sure she'll make a good broodmare.
Yeah, well done to the owners there with Bennies Girl. Obviously took everyone on a ride, and that ride's continuing in the shape of another horse with the stable. Yeah, so
they purchased a Pride of Dubai filly this year at the Magic Millions, so I'll be looking forward to getting her up and going.
Well, that's the next chapter, and we'll keep an eye on the baby Bennies Girls in the years to come. Well, it's another huge weekend of racing, and doesn't get bigger than this. A Group 1, Pelisipan in the Tats Tiara, and mate, she's a Group 2 winner. So she's going in with form and runs on the board, and even though she's not exactly in the market as one of the favourites, you couldn't be any happier with her going in.
No, well, she doesn't know what price she is, and all I know is she's a very fit, healthy horse right at this point in time. So if she has any luck at all from the gate, and Luke's able to get in and find the right spot within the first 200 metres, I'm sure she'll be right there at the death.
How's she come along since that Group 2 win?
I think she's actually improved. As strange as it sounds, for the next week she ate everything and hasn't turned her hair, and I couldn't be more happier than the way she worked on Tuesday morning. So, you know, I've got no reason not to go to the races feeling that, feeling confident and feeling that she'll run her heart out.
Okay, well, she had a good draw in the Dane Ripper. Luke Tarrant rode and sticks here, and I guess just a little bit trickier for him potentially from the wider draw, although she does come in a couple of barriers with scratchings.
Yeah, she does, but I mean, she comes into barrier 10, and you know, if you drew barrier 10 in a Stradbroke with 18 runners or 19 runners, I think you'd still be pretty happy with barrier 10. So I just feel that a lot of the speed is outside as it is, and a lot of the main chances of drawing out wide too. A lot of the horses that probably have got no hope of drawing in close. So I think he's just got to, probably where he's drawn is a good draw, because he can sort of take his time and work out where he wants to be by the time he gets to the 1200.
Okay, well, exciting times for owners, and just from a personal level, this is your third Group 1 runner. So I guess that, you know, shows, we've been talking about all these stakes win and everything, but just how hard it is and how much work has to go into to get a runner in one of these big races.
Yeah, well, it is, and I mean, I tend not to keep count of it really, but I mean, it's to have a runner in a Group 1's a great thrill, but you know, to have one I do believe is a genuine chance, it makes it very exciting, and Yeah, it'd be nice if she could win.
All right, well, no doubt the connections have been excited this week too, so good luck to everyone involved there with Pelisipan. And then we move on to Rhapsody Rose, who drops back to her own age and sex in the $150,000 Edward Street, Brisbane. Looks a nice race for her based on her last run against the boys.
I thought she went really well the other day from a tricky draw. Luke had to use a bit of petrol up to go forward, and he rolled to the front. And she was only just run down probably the last 50 metres, the last 100 metres. So she's another one. I do feel that she's improved nicely, and if he can get the right sort of running trends on her, she'll be there when the whips are cracking late.
Okay, so bit of confidence there too. You got two runners heading into a big race.
Yeah, we've only got the two runners, but I feel both of them are going to be very competitive.
Okay, very good. Well, give them strength and good luck to everyone over the weekend.